Of name changes and name trademarks and things going on with names in professional wrestling. Did you see this story? The shocker of all shockers. The Bella Twins no more. They are the Garcia Twins.
I don't see why it's such a shocking revelation. WWE owns the Bella name, correct?
They do. I think the shocker was that they just changed. In this world, when you change your Twitter handle and your social media handles out of nowhere with no build up or no anticipation, that's where the shocker part of it comes.
If they no longer have a Legends deal or whatever their deal was with WWE, and WWE owns Bella, they can't use it anymore. So of course they're going to have to change their Twitter handle. I wasn't shocked by it. I was just like, yeah, their time is up there. Yeah. I knew it right away. It has to be that way. I don't think they trademarked Bella. I think
no, they wouldn't. Where we talked about them letting trademarks lapse, I mean, they wouldn't let one lapse in one day.
I don't think so. I think WWE. Yeah, WWE has to own the Bella name, so they can't use it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they can't use it anymore. So this was not a shock to me. I was just like, yeah, they're the Garcia Twins. Now, if somebody hears Garcia Twins, like if you're not an uber super duper fan, you're not going to think of the Bellas.
I think of them like I hear Garcia Twins. I think they're going to be on like Howard Stern. You know, like we got the Garcia Twins coming in here, Robin.
Right. Yeah, because I did see like why the Garcia Twins? Why don't they use their last names? Because they have two different last names. They're married.
Yeah,
you can't be twins and have two different last names. Like it fits. You know, I get it, but it didn't shock me.
Yeah.
And they're going to be just fine. The Bellas or the Garcias, they're going to be just fine. So don't worry about them. They have like 42 different jobs that they're doing. They have the clothesline, the wine. One of them's on Dancing with the Stars, the husband. The other husband works for AEW. I think they'll be okay.
But now, do you think they've kind of transcended wrestling?
How so?
That they've kind of superseded where they were obviously active wrestlers. They were both superstars on the roster competing matches, and they've retired. And now they were under Legends contracts. They would come back for shows, but they've done so much, like you said, Dancing with the Stars, reality shows, clothing lines. Have they kind of transcended their wrestling careers and like basically moved on?
Yeah, I mean, you never say never. I think it would be a really cool thing if somebody got them for like a WrestleCon. I think they would have a line going to the next state over. They're very popular. But I feel like I think it was Nikki who put out a statement, we're not going to AEW. She made it very clear. Now that could change tomorrow. Like you never know what's going to happen. But I think she's at the point where she can't work anymore because of her injuries. I think her neck is really bad. I don't know what Bree's stance is on anything, but do they have to work? Do they have to wrestle? So. The answer is no, they do not. And they're getting older. You know, we're not in our 20s and early 30s anymore. You're getting older. So the risk of injury increases. Your body can't take the blows like it did when you were 20. It's a different game when you're older. So I feel like they could still do conventions and make a pretty penny off those conventions whenever they want. They don't have to physically be on TV to do so. I think they're a draw. They will draw hundreds and hundreds of fans wherever they go. But no, I think they have surpassed wrestling. And from what I understand, they're very successful in the industries that they chose beyond wrestling. They don't need it.
Yeah, very successful.
You don't need to do it.
They, and when they left, so they got released 10 years ago after their first couple of years there. They did great on the convention scene then. And then when they came back to WWE, that's when they strapped the rocket to them. Their second stint in WWE is what catapulted them to this ridiculous superstardom. So,
yeah.
I mean, But why go to A? You don't need to go to AEW if you're them. It
I
doesn't
mean,
get
if you're
it's
still
meaningless.
passionate about the business and you feel you still have a story to tell, then yeah, by all means, sign with AEW. But if you're kind of just like, some people need to be on television all the time. I've never met either girl, so I don't know what their deals are. You got someone like me who doesn't really care and just goes out there and does it on, every other weekend just to get a couple bucks in her pocket. I don't crave the attention. I don't crave the TV time. You have other people who constantly want to be in the public eye. They constantly want to be on your TV screens. Is that the Bellas? Is that what they want to do? Or are they content with just doing things that aren't spotlight related?
Right.
Because a lot of the other work, it's behind the scenes. It's nobody sees you making your wine. Nobody sees you in the clothing meetings. It's kind of low key, but they're still making that paycheck.
Yeah.
I think it's a no brainer. Save your bodies. Just.
Yeah. And after that Raw show that they were advertised for, and then they were pulled from, and then they had that Instagram live where they were like ripping creative.
Sure.
Kind of knew that their
Oh, yeah.
WWE stint was over. And man, did they burn it down. But
they didn't care. Apparently you don't care, because why would you tweet something like that or put it out there? You watch your P's and Q's when you give a crap, and apparently they don't. So
I got a conspiracy theory for you.
Oh, yeah.
This is another victim of no Vince McMahon. Very successful under Vince McMahon, the Bella Twins.
You think Hunter has a vendetta against the Bella Twins?
Maybe he didn't see the money in keeping them around.
Wow. Well,
Vince were they obviously pushed into the moon?
Do we know why the partnership ended? Do we know the story?
That I haven't heard at all. That I mean, they ripped the creative, not wanting to use them, and then something about they didn't feel the women's wrestling was being spotlighted enough, and that's what they were having their little bone to pick. In that live, I'm gonna guess there's maybe the Vince leaving could have affected their standing with the company. You hear all this stuff now about Brock Lesnar too. Brock Lesnar, not to say that I'm not going to, discredit anybody as a superstar, but this almost guy, that giant that is on there with a 9 foot tall guy that they have, kind of a step down for Brock Lesnar, who maybe supposedly Triple H ain't the biggest fan of.
Wow.
So Brock Lesnar allegedly telling people that he's finishing up with the company.
Really? See, I haven't heard that.
Brock Lesnar also benefit of the Vince McMahon era of WWE.
We just don't know. I don't, and plus you can't believe everything that you read or hear on the internet. Like, what I forgot to tell you? When you said big man, I'm totally, it went off in my head. What is the African-American guy that's huge?
Almost.
I saw him at Disney World. And I forgot to tell you.
What?
He was at Magic Kingdom. We were at Magic Kingdom. Yeah. We were walking. I know that you just talk about big dudes. I was like, wait a minute. That just popped in my head. We were walking, and my husband goes, he's on WWE. I go,
that's crazy.
Who? And there was that guy. I thought he was a basketball player when we walked by him, because he's very tall. And I guess he had his wife, and I think there were kids around. I don't know. And I said, who is he? Because I don't watch, and he told me who. I go, oh, is he NXT? He goes, no, he's main roster, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? So we went on, I think we went in like Country Bear Jamboree, and we came out, and he was standing there taking pictures with like fans.
Oh, wow.
And I said, oh, I guess it's him, and yeah, he was huge. Very, very tall man.
I thought you were going to say you went on like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and you went by like a little loop, and he was standing there, and you were like, oh, hey. And he was like, hey.
No, I walked right by him.
It was a joke because he's so tall.
Yeah. But when we walked by him, certain people, I never run up to people and say, hey, I wasn't going to, but I saw him, and I was just like,
you should have gone up and spoke Carney to him, see if he knew what you were doing.
His mind. I'm not very good with Carney, though. That's my problem. I would have to say something else, but yeah, so he was there. But anyway, the Brock Lesnar thing I didn't hear.
Yeah.
It's funny because I keep saying like Vince is supposedly behind the scenes again, but no one knows what's going on, and so you don't know what to believe and what not to believe, and I don't know. It helps some people and it hurts some people. Again, it's flip flopping. It's like the people who got screwed now are coming back, and then the people who were there are getting screwed and just keep getting flip flopped around. I would not like to be in that locker room.